30 crew and trainees of a tall ship had a lucky escape today after a dramatic rescue operation when their vessel hit rocks off the coast of County Cork. The Astrid, a 42-metre Dutch-registered training vessel, got into difficulty when its engine failed off Kinsale Harbour. The RNLI said those rescued were in shock and suffering from mild hypothermia.
The dramatic event started unfolding just before 12 o'clock when the Astrid, with 30 crew on board, had engine failure. The RNLI in Kinsale got a mayday call immediately.
The Kinsale lifeboat and its volunteer crew were on scene in 10 minutes. They proceeded to evacuate the 30 casualties. They took 18 on board. The helm instructed the captain of the vessel to launch the Astrid's life raft. The remaining 12 were put in the life raft. Subsequently, the Kinsale lifeboat transferred the casualties from their lifeboat onto a waiting vessel. Cork lifeboat took on scene command, and the lifeboat then proceeded to return to the stricken vessel and towed the life raft with the 12 survivors on board away from the sinking vessel. Within 5 minutes, the vessel had keeled over to port side and was underwater.
16-year-old Rose Lynch is one of the lucky survivors.
It was all very calm. Everyone kind of knew what they were doing. A lot of people had loads of experience in sailing, so everyone was very safe and everyone was okay.
Did you get frightened at any stage?
I think everyone was a bit frightened, but no one's life was in danger. Like, no one was, worried or anything. Everyone was okay.
17-year-old Dara Comiskey is also counting his blessings.
I was put in a life raft and then towed further off and then put in the RNLI boat. Yeah.
Were you scared?
No, I was fine. Most people were fine. There was no one really panicking or anything.
One of the RNLI rescue boats that took part came from Cork, which is about 35 minutes away.
When we arrived on scene, there were still 18 people in a life raft, and the seas were nasty conditions enough, and especially being inside the life raft, people would get seasick and dehydrated very quickly. So it was very important that we'd get people out as quickly as could, and we then transfer them to Kinsale. I think it's an absolute miracle that you have a situation like that and you get 30 people can literally walk away from that sort of a disaster and without hardly a scratch. It's possibly unheard of.
Sailor Harry Harmon was in a rib beside the Astrid when it got into trouble.
It's really a credit to the training of our emergency services. If it had been another 10 or 15 minutes, we might be talking about a totally different story now.
This evening, naval divers were out at the scene.
Having been out there and observing the weather conditions, there's a heavy swell out there at the moment. Those people on board are very lucky, and it's a credit to the emergency service that got them off.
So tonight, a major sigh of relief in these parts that a terrible tragedy was averted.
And Geraldine joins us now from Kinsale. Geraldine, looking at those dramatic pictures and given the treacherous conditions at the time, it is truly remarkable that all 30 were brought ashore safely.
It's amazing, Eileen, that very often we use the word miracle when it's not appropriate, but today it really is appropriate. As Sean O'Farrell there from the RNLI was saying, I mean, just to see those dramatic pictures and to think that there's 30 people about 100 yards away from me here that are tonight having dinner, trying to relax and trying to get over what happened to them today, it really is a miracle all around.
Now, great tribute being paid to all the services who gathered and other boats who were there as well, because I gather that this boat was part of the gathering cruise.
Yes, they left Dublin last weekend for what was to be a major successful and happy event for all of them, and they're due in Dingle this weekend until these events, of course, happen today. But we cannot stress enough about the volunteer rescue services and indeed the Coast Guard. But the RNLI and the other coastal boats that came by, they really played a blinder is the only word. And had it been another 10 or 15 minutes, it's hard to know what could have been the outcome. But these are people, by and large, like the RNLI, these are people that were at their place of work and within 5 minutes had left their place of work, had got into their boats and made their way out there, despite the fact that the sea was choppy. They don't think of their own lives, Eileen, and that's what is incredible, and that's why tonight we have 30 people that are alive.
A good story, Geraldine. Thank you.